Hello. Okay, I've been needing to make this video for a few reasons. First of all, I thought I was going to completely lose it. We all have private lives and we try to keep as much of our lives private as possible. One of the reasons why I stopped making videos for a while is because I was going through so much personal stuff. Um, Before I got pregnant with my youngest, so about almost 6 years ago, I started going through a lot of difficulty with my oldest daughter. My oldest started acting up, and then my youngest at the time started acting up, but it wasn't until after I had my little one. So I really wanted to make videos, and I really wanted to continue with YouTube, not for monetary reasons, but because it was an outlet for me. I have since found other outlets. I still have a shopping habit. Of course, I'm a couponer and a discount shopper, a thrift store shopper. I still love doing that. But I started a travel business because I wanted an outlet, something to do while I stayed at home. And I lost interest in that really quick. It just wasn't for me. I love travel. I travel with my family, and I wanted my discounts, but it just wasn't working for me. Then I was introduced to another business where I sell jewelry, and that became my outlet because it allowed me to do two things that I love doing. I love shopping, so I was able to buy jewelry whether I sold it or not. And I started doing Facebook Lives to sell my jewelry. So I found that to be my outlet. But my 22-year-old told me that I should look and see if I want to do YouTube again. Because when she's away from home, all of my older daughters are now away from home, basically. So it brings me back to the reason why I started my YouTube in the beginning was because I was away from home, away from my family, and they wanted to make sure I was doing okay as I started the process of having weight loss surgery. So today I wanted to come in to talk about one of the reasons why I sort of stepped away from doing videos for a while. I became extremely stressed. I want to say it was back 2012 was my oldest, and I'll refer to them by their ages. So my oldest, my 24-year-old, back then she met a boy and was head over heels with this boy. And I have no problem with that. She was under the age of 18 and the, first love, and he's the football star and all of that. But my issue was we were away from home, which means we were not in Texas. We weren't around family. I created a family environment while we were there. I met some amazing people. I met some YouTubers who to this day are my girls. And we've all moved to different areas of the world. Again, we're separated, but they will forever be family and friends to me. So that village that we created while we were there, if you hear noise in the background, it's y'all little friend. She's over there playing with magnets on the refrigerator. So my 24-year-old, back then, she fell in love with this boy, and she got to the point to where I wouldn't see her. Like, she wouldn't come home. Like, it was scary because we were away from home. We were in Louisiana, in the middle of nowhere. If you ever been to Leesville, Fort Polk, Louisiana area, about an hour and a half away from Lake Charles, there's really nothing there. So I was scared because you would hear of kids missing, and there was nothing but woods, and I ain't know nothing about this area. That stressed me out. That caused some depression. I continued to make videos, but I was going through so much because there would be times when she wouldn't come home, and I'm trying to make a video, but yet I'm worried because I don't know where she's at. Fast forward, I got pregnant. It got worse. I felt it was because I got pregnant with another baby, and that she was jealous. But she has told me that that wasn't it. She just wanted her freedom because she wanted to be with this boy. Long story short, they're still together and they're still in Louisiana and they're living their lives. She's 24 now and she's doing her thing. She told me that my parenting wasn't the problem. She just wanted to be with him and there was nothing she was going to do, nothing I could do to stop her from being with him. Of course, I wanted to make sure that she had the best possible chance at living a good life. I basically forced her to come back to Texas with us. When we PCS and we went back to Fort Hood, I brought her with me. She didn't want to finish high school. I sent her to Job Corps. She finished Job Corps, and then not even a week after graduating from Job Corps, I went on a business trip. Yes, ma'am.
Mommy, so my agenda is in home.
No, you have two agendas. Hold on one second. You have two agendas. That one stays home. The other one's in your book bag, okay? All right?
But can I switch?
No, ma'am. You leave that one here because the other one has all your information in it.
And look at happy faces.
Yes, ma'am. It has happy faces. So, she, not even a week after she graduated from Job Corps, she was staying with us, and we told her, you can stay with us for 6 months to a year. That'll give you time to get on your own 2 feet. Within a week, she had got her money from school. I took her. She opened a bank account. She got a train ticket, and she went back to Louisiana to be with him. Of course, that stressed me out because I love my daughters. I love my children. I want them to have every opportunity possible in life. I didn't have a bad life. I made choices. There were times, but I wasn't until I was older, where I was on my own. I was on my own at a pretty young age, but I still had my mom to a certain extent. I wanted my children to have better than that because I didn't have a bad life. I wanted them to have an even better life. I wanted them to have an even better life than I had had. Lord have mercy. So that was stressful for me, Trinity. Okay, baby. I wanted them to have an even better life than I had had. So when I got her back to Fort Hood, I felt like I was going to lose my mind because when we got to Fort Hood, I found out that I was having my baby early. So she was considered a preemie. That was stressful. Then I was trying to get my oldest into Job Corps. And then my youngest at the time, which is now 20, she starts acting up. So my 20-year-old starts acting up and wanting to do her own thing and sneaking out of windows. And I was like, this isn't my kid. Why is my kid doing this? Now, meanwhile, my 22-year-old, I've had no issues out of her. But my 20-year-old and my 24-year-old, they wanted to act a fool. And the only thing I could think of, because it just started somewhat out of the blue, is that it had to been the fact that I was pregnant and then I had just had a baby. So they both told me that's not what it was. They felt like they were grown, like they had it all figured out, which I know most teenagers think, oh, I got it all figured out. Oh, I've done this and I've done that. I got it all figured out. But they're now learning they haven't got it all figured out. But that was very stressful for me. So it was either try to take care of my family or allow all of it to play out on YouTube. And I feel that sometimes people put so much of their private lives on the World Wide Web, and then they wonder why they get backlash from it. I'm not one of those people who is going to do it. I don't care about the backlash because I don't care what nobody thinks about my situation. That's your opinion of my situation. But it was just I needed to choose what was important to me at that moment, and taking care of my family and making sure my family was good was the most important thing to me. So my 20-year-old starts acting up in school and talking about hurting herself and hurting others, and I had to make sure that she was okay. I had to make sure her mental status was okay, that she was okay. I had to figure out what was going on with her. So I then had to take time to make sure she was good, all while juggling a baby and my husband being deployed, and then my husband going to Korea, and then feeling like my world was coming down around me. And then in the process of all of that, we got orders to go to New Jersey. And then those fell through. And then my 20-year-old decided she wanted to really act real off the chain. She had a very large chest, so we went and got her a breast reduction because she needed one. I mean, she was 16, 15 at the time, and she was going into an H. So she needed some help. And I don't know if it was after she came out of off of the anesthesia, it was like her whole personality, her whole mood had been altered. And I tried to seek as much help for her as possible, but I feared for my little one. And to this day, my baby apologizes for the way that she acted, and she doesn't blame me for the course of action that I took. I would never abandon my children, but I sent her to live with my mother because I felt that maybe she needed to be on the outside to understand how much love she had on the inside. So I sent her away. Not today. Maybe later, okay?
But I like to go swimming.
I know you do. Maybe this weekend. We'll see, okay? All right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I sent her to stay with my mother, and the course of action that's happened after that was out of my control. When she turned 18, she left my mother's house, and she moved clear across Texas. My mom was in San Antonio. She moved clear across Texas to Dallas, once again, following a boy. And I asked both of my daughters, why do y'all do this? Why are y'all following these men around, these boys around like this? So she's basically on her own now, and she's doing well. She's taking care of herself, which makes me happy. And then, of course, my 22-year-old, she works. She's a traveling nanny, and she's just doing her thing. She's home for the time being, but she's spending the day in New Mexico with a friend. So that is my reason for all of the MIA, all of the not being on not being on YouTube, was because I had to take care of my family life. I don't know what's gonna happen next with us. We are still active. Really, you got my bra showing and stuff. Move. So we are still active duty military. So there is no telling, girl, my clothes are too big. I'm just chilling at the house and you're just all over me. So we don't know where our next duty station will be. We bought a house in El Paso, Texas, but we bought a house in El Paso, Texas, but we don't know what's going to happen next. And I really think that I may come back to YouTube to try to document. But I think it warranted an explanation, although I don't owe an explanation to anybody. But I wanted to talk about this because I went through some things. I was like, I suffered postpartum depression, and I mean, I had it pretty bad. I mean, I had days where it was like I would put my baby in my shirt and walk around with her and just cry. I was so distraught because I was trying to figure out what I could do to make sure that my children were safe. I know that they were taken care of, but I wanted to make sure they were safe because those are two different things. You could be taken care of. You could have a man or a woman or somebody in your life who is taking care of all your wants and needs. They are providing you with any and everything you need, but you're not safe. So I wanted to make sure that my children were safe. For me, I've always been the type of person who I stood on my own 2 feet. And my husband, he is an extension of my life. But God forbid if something happened tomorrow, I'm able to land on my feet. I don't know too many women who have the mindset to land on their feet if something was to happen to their significant other. But she makes it hard to make a serious video. I can't with this. Have y'all met Miss Sepu? Okay, so I'm going to end this video because this isn't going to get any better. She just got out of school and she is on 10. How are you doing? She keeps playing with Mama's red hair. She wants red hair, so I'm going to let her play with my red hair tonight. I just wanted to come in to give you guys an update. I think that I'm going to try to come back into doing videos just to give updates on what's going on with me. So this is just a little bit of my life. Just a little bit of my life. I hope everybody has a blessed weekend and an amazing weekend. This is my weekend. Say goodbye, Trin.
Bye.
I'll talk to you guys later. Have a blessed weekend. Bye.